Hello and welcome to another Vant Trading free video. This one is going to be another trading platform review, ThinkorSwim or TOS from TD Ameritrade. Like all other trading platform reviews, this is kind of going to be going over some of the general gist of the platform, give you a feel for it, tell you about some of the things we like and don't like about it. You know, none of this is investment or legal or tax advice. This is all for educational and entertainment purposes only. You know, we're just going to kind of go through the platform, give you a feel for it, and kind of go over some of the features here. So first of all, ThinkorSwim. This is kind of the overall view of the desktop app. What is ThinkorSwim generally known for and generally good for? Well, the main thing is charts. You know, stock charts, studies, indicators, visual representation of the stocks and the price movements. It's not necessarily known as a good day trading platform. It's not known for stellar executions and hotkeys and crazy, intricate, detailed setups. It's more for looking at your charts, putting in these trades at your own pace, and for trades that, you know, are going to be over a day or two, or maybe long-term trades. It's a very good investing platform, and it's a very good platform to just simply use for charts. First of all, we'll talk about the fees and commissions. So ThinkorSwim is generally a per trade execution versus per share, and so they're going to run you about $6.95 per trade. It's a little on the higher side. It's not terrible, you know, but if you're an active day trader, having to pay almost $14 just to enter and exit a trade can be very costly, especially if you're a small account that's just starting out. But it could be a benefit if you're a long-term trader and you want to do a lot of size. These per trade executions can really save you money versus per share executions, especially if you're putting on, you know, thousands of shares, tens of thousands of shares. Then this is definitely something that can be beneficial for you, especially if you're a medium to long-term investor, because you're not going to be accruing as much commissions and you're going to be taking higher benefit of the charts and the platform in general. In terms of some of the account minimums, the best part about ThinkorSwim is there are no account minimums. So you can open up an account, put like $50, $100, however much into this, and then just use the charts, use the studies, use the API, and have another platform as well. That's what a lot of traders do. They find a chart or a platform service that is very good with charting, and then they find another platform that's really good with executions, and they utilize both. So it's very nice that you can kind of get in here and put in a small account. If you're a small account that wants to just invest long term, then this could be a great platform for you, because you can put in your couple $1,000 or however much you have and put on these long-term positions with very little overhead and very little fees. So that can definitely benefit you. In terms of promotions that you want to pay attention to, usually they run these like 60-day commission-free promotions when you deposit a certain amount of money, and if you deposit more money, then they'll give you some extra cash on top of that. The main thing you want to focus on there is trying to get those 60 days of free commissions, because that's 60 days of free trading. That can be a big deal, and if you just want to test out the platform for like a month or two, that 60 days is going to be perfect for you, because now you can kind of get in there and see if this platform is actually right for you. You know, it can be your trial period with no costs. Hotkeys, you know, if you're a speed trader, you want to be kind of cool and fast. Let's take a look here. I'm going to show you what these hotkeys look like, because they're not stellar. They're going to be right over here. So the hotkeys, and this is it right here, what I'm showing you, this is the extent of the hotkeys. They don't have custom hotkeys that you can code and put in. They don't have, you know, intricate routing methods. Instead, it's what you see here, and the majority of the hotkeys are used to navigate the platform easier and switch between tabs. These are all the execution hotkeys they have. It's simply buy and sell at the market, ask or bid. That's it. You know, it's as simple as it gets, and it's as basic as it gets. They have some charting hotkeys, but again, it's really not much. So this is not going to be a platform that you get in there and speed trade and go around and, you know, in and out in the blink of an eye. This is not a good scalping or momentum-based platform. In terms of some of the other stuff you can do, there's a decent amount of customization that you can do, and how your platform looks and behaves and what it looks like. So that's good. but generally it's not going to be a fast-paced platform for fast-paced traders or even just day traders in general. So let's talk about the one thing that they are good at, which is charting. They are very good at charts, and let's kind of give you an example here. Let's just take a look at this IWM chart. This is what your general chart will look like. You can have bar charts, you can have candlestick charts, line charts, you can have whatever kind you want. You can also change the different types of prices, whether it's last price, it can be the bid and ask, it could be tick data. You can change the time frames very easily. You can do intraday. Say I want to look at the last 5 minute, 1 minute, 5 day, 1 minute. That was easy. Say you want to look at the, look at a daily chart, you want to look at the last 10 years. You can do that super easily, so and you can customize your presets and your favorites. That's very nice. One thing they're also very good at is doing different drawings and things like that. So you want to do some price levels, you can do that super easily. Say you want to, draw a trend line, you can do that very easily. And say you want to do some other things. There's channels, there's Fibonacci's, there's Andrew's pitchfork, whatever the hell that is. There's a lot of different custom drawings that you can do to really help you visualize and draw your lines. And if you're a technical-based trader, this can be a very helpful tool to you. They also have studies. They have a lot of studies. And this is a very good thing, but it can be a little overwhelming, so you don't want to try to learn all of them when you first get this platform. You can focus on some of the ones you like. Like, for example, VWAP. Volume weighted average price. Super basic thing. You can put Bollinger Bands on it. You can go in and customize what each line looks like, how thick it is, what the line is detailed, whether it has dotted lines or a straight, thick line, a thin line, anything like that. You can do that. And this is going to be one of the issues with ThinkorSwim is sometimes it can be a little slower. And then bam, you've got all sorts of studies. You can put more studies in. You can stack them. So say you want to have the moving average or the VWAP along with a simple moving average. Let's do a 9 period. Bam. So now it just overlaid this 9. And so now if you're someone that likes to do moving average crossovers, you can do that. You can still do your drawings, so you can find support right here. So you can do a lot of different fun things with ThinkorSwim depending on what your strategy is, and it can be very easy to navigate. Say you like to watch multiple time frames. Well, then you can pull up 3 charts. You can link them all to each other. One can be the daily, one can be a 30-minute, one can be a 1 minute. And it's as simple as that. You can pop these charts out and move them around, shrink them down, have multiple on a page. You can create flex grids. There's a lot of customization you can do with these charts. That's actually very nice and very helpful. So that, again, this is kind of where they excel is in terms of the visualization. You can do flex grids and things like that. So overall, you got a lot of flexibility with this. Let's talk about some of the other things. In terms of locating shares, like if you're trying to trade a stock that's hard to borrow, it's not going to be very good. You're going to have to usually call someone, and that kind of goes into the customer support service, which isn't terrible. There's definitely worse in the industry. If you call someone, you're probably going to have a wait time. You're probably going to have to wait a little bit. But when you do reach someone, they're generally very helpful, and it doesn't take too long to get situated. They do have some chat functions in here, which isn't actually that bad. Sometimes you have to wait a little bit as well. They have some chat rooms. You can put in some live support tickers. So doing things like locating shares, or if you're having an issue, it may take some time to reach out to someone. But that can be with a lot of platforms. It's the locating shares that's difficult. In terms of ease of entry, how easy it is to get in and out at the prices you want, it's not going to be the easiest unless you have those hotkeys. You're going to have to, you say you want to buy a stock, buy. You have to edit it. Tell you how many shares, click in the price, do the limit and stuff, and then hit confirm and send, and it'll give you another pop-up, and you say okay. So it takes time. So again, if you're a trader that, has a little bit of longer term horizon, you know what entry you're going to get, you're going to put your order in, wait until you get filled, then that's not going to be a problem for you. But if you're someone who, you see your play, you need to get in, you need to get out, and it's all happening in the span of seconds, if not maybe like a minute, this is going to be a tougher platform to navigate. It's not going to be impossible, but you're going to be at a disadvantage compared to some other platforms. But, if you're a long-term trader, it's not a huge big deal. It's not a huge deal. In terms of some services, news services, they've got this live news service that actually isn't terrible. So say you want to look at a stock like Apple and see what some of the most recent news is. You can do that, and you can, open up the news and kind of see. It's going to give us a pop-up in a second, and you can now read the news article, and you can flip through them. It'll give you some links to the actual articles, things like that. So their news service is actually pretty solid. You really shouldn't be using it to, catch that breaking news on these trades. But if you're going to look at it for some overnight news, it's actually not too bad, and it's free, which is always nice, especially for us traders that like to save money. In terms of API, they do have an API. It's halfway decent. We haven't used it ourselves, but like say you can go in here and you can create a new strategy, and then you just bam, you've got functions, you've got some reserved words, constants, data types that you can pull in, and you can code your own strategy, or you can go in and edit one. So let's just pull up one for an example. You go into VWAP, we can view it, and there's the code. There's the code for VWAP for them. So now you can copy a piece of this, and you can put it in your own code and edit, and you can create your own strategy based on this, and you can have it give you alerts that you want to give it. So if you're a trader, or you're halfway decent at coding, or it's something that you may want to be interested in, we know some traders who've actually done some interesting things with this and have found some profitable strategies through their API service. We haven't used it heavily ourselves, but it's there, and it's actually not terrible. It's actually halfway decent compared to the rest of the industry. They do have a mobile app. They do have a desktop platform. The desktop app is great and a must. That's what this is. The mobile app we haven't really used much, but I'm sure it works. It's not going to be a speed trading app, that's for certain, and we're not sure if they have live data, but it can do the job. In terms of some other notable features that they may have, well, you've got a couple things up here that are actually pretty nice. You've got your trade monitoring, where you can monitor your account positions, your account statements, your FX reports. You've got your trade tab, and in the trade tab, it's nice. You can see you can trade stocks, you can trade options, you can trade Forex, you can trade futures. I'm sure commodities are in here somewhere. There's a lot you can do with ThinkorSwim. So if you're someone who's in a lot of different markets, you can actually do a lot here, and that's very nice. In terms of analyzing, you can do a lot of things like profitability analysis. You want to try to graph out what your profitability curve and some of your more complicated options positions are. You can do that. And if that's something that you're serious about, this can be a very helpful tool. And it's definitely something that sets ThinkorSwim apart from the others in terms of being able to give you a risk profile and things like that. You can do some scans. You can create your own scanners. A lot of platforms have, halfway decent scanners. This one isn't the worst. You can get in here and you can manipulate some data like the bid and ask, the previous close, the high, some of the volume, things like that. And you can give it min and max values to give you what you want. And then you can also do some options filters. And that's a big deal because not a lot of platforms give you some sufficient options filters. We haven't used them heavily, but the fact that they're there is a big deal. You can also add some study and fundamental filters. This is actually a very flexible scanning software that, if you can master, you could actually find the things that you like. You can then detach your scanner, shrink it down, put it in a corner somewhere, and, not have it take up too much space. So you can do all of these different scanning things. That's very nice. There's some things like Options Hacker where you can find some option scans and spreads. And so, it's actually, they've got a lot of tools at their disposal. It's not the easiest to use and the most pretty of tools, but it's, it's better than some other things out there. You've got a couple other standard things. They do have some tools. They've got chat rooms. They've got these news services, trade feeds. They seem to have a couple chat room type services. We don't use those, but the fact that they're there is nice. They have an education system where they have live events, workshops, videos, webinars, things with successful traders and other traders in their platform. And this is another thing that's actually really helpful because a lot of platforms aren't going to even bother giving you this. And it's free. It's just sitting here for if you have an account. So that's definitely something. They have in-person events. They have courses. We don't know the quality of any of them, but the fact that they're there, they may be worth looking into. So there's a lot at your disposal here when it comes to ThinkorSwim. And there's one more thing that I'm going to talk about, and that's simulated trading. You can get a day trading paper account where they give you 100,000 fake dollars and you can trade along and see how you do and get practice. That's a very big, helpful tool that not every platform has. that if you're a newer beginning trader and you don't quite, want to put your money out there yet and actually start trading with your own money, this is something you should look into then, is opening up a paper account at one of these trading platforms. They also have what's called on demand, and this is actually, I think, a very cool tool. It's something that I've not seen any other platform have, and that's like trading in the past. So say you saw on February, you saw something interesting in the market or in Apple, and so you wanted to go in there and you wanted to trade that. This is exactly how Apple was trading February 7th at 11:35 a.m. They gave me, a fake, I think, $100,000 or so. I can now trade this. I can trade things that happened in the past as they happened. And I can, trade them as if they were happening for the first time. So it's very, very helpful tool here. If there are some trades that you want to relive or recap and you want to see how things behaved at that point in time, this can be something that's very helpful and not a lot of people utilize enough. So that's something that's very cool. And again, all these features are free for you if you get this platform, and that's, just a big deal for this platform. So that's largely going to cover it. I mean, there's a lot to digest. We don't cover everything in depth in these things, but I hope this gave you a decent view of kind of what the charts look like, what the system looks like, what the platform has to offer, what its flaws are, and really doing your research and due diligence on these platforms before you invest in them and actually start trading on them is a big deal, because not being familiar with how a platform works and trying to trade on it can cost you some money in terms of stupid mistakes when you try to do things that you didn't know your platform couldn't do. So it's always important to know the capabilities of all the platforms. In terms of ThinkorSwim, you've got some great things in terms of some of the promotions, some of the API, the charting, and some of the free services they give you. It does lack in terms of executions, day trading, and some of the more interesting, fun tools like that some of you more experienced traders have, or some of you day traders. But it's definitely got its place in use, even if you just simply use it for the charts. I thank you all for tuning in. I hope this was a big help, and I look forward to seeing you again.